I'm Em and this is Books and Bath Bombs, and today I'm going to be doing my August reading wrap-up. That is, talk about all of the books that I read in August. And the reason for me doing this quotation thing is because I've barely read anything this month. Like, I've been in the biggest slump of my life. Okay, not of my life, but of my booktube life, definitely. And like, I haven't been reading this little since forever, basically. I have, of my own free will, read one book this month, and that book isn't even really a book. And besides from that book, I have read one book for university, which is something I'm doing now, apparently. I did start another book, but that was a book that I borrowed from my local library, and since I moved, I had to give it back before I was done. And I was barely even halfway through it, and I liked it, but I didn't love it, so I didn't feel any attachments to it, and therefore I didn't have any problems with not finishing it. But anyway, I still wanted to make a wrap-up, and I thought since I don't have that much to talk about today, I could do it with a little twist, and I'm thinking of keeping this twist for future videos. Okay, so here is how this is going to work. For the two books I have read this month, I have picked a Lush product that I tried for the first time this month. So this is going to be both a reading wrap-up and a Lush using wrap-up. I don't know, this concept just came to me. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is a Lush product called Rose Argan Body Conditioner. The body conditioner is kind of the same as a hair conditioner, but it's for your body. So like for your hair, first you do shampoo, then you do hair conditioner, and likewise, you first do shower gel or jelly or soap or whatever for your body, and then you do body conditioner. And most of the body conditioners are supposed to be very moisturizing. And yeah, so Rose Argan Body Conditioner is a body conditioner that I got in a gift set that I got this month, the Rosy gift set. So I have this small 45-gram tub, and this is a rose scented product, and it shares its scent with the Rose Jam scent family. So you have the Rose Jam shower gel that's really popular, and the Rose Jam Bubble Rune, which is also super popular, and a bunch of other stuff. And the way I felt about this product is I was so excited to try it. I've been hearing about body conditioners non-stop recently, and I felt such excitement for trying out a body conditioner. So I was very happy when I got this. But then I used it and I liked it. It smelled lovely and stuff, but ultimately I was disappointed. It didn't do as much for me as I thought it would. So my general feelings towards this is disappointment. And that, my friends, is also how I feel about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Parts 1 and 2 by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Jack Thorne. Did anyone see this coming? You probably did. So yeah, this is the only book that I have read this month. I read this as soon as it came out. I was at a convention when this book dropped, and one of the stores that were there selling stuff sold this book at midnight. They're a bookshop, and so I got it and I started reading it on the last day of the con and finished it, I think, the day after the con ended. I don't remember. But yeah, so this is the only book I read this month. Initially, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and then I was like, wait just a second. This book had so many plot holes, it can't possibly deserve a 5-star rating for me. So I lowered it to 3 stars, and I am satisfied with putting it at a 3 stars because, like I said with Rose Argan, ultimately I was disappointed, but I still enjoyed it. So I had to give it at least a small positive rating. So if you for some reason has been living under a rock for a while and don't know what the heck this is the new Harry Potter story, which is a play that is currently being shown in London, and this book contains the script for that play, so we all get to at least experience it in one form. But you know, this video is basically going to be a review of this book because I haven't read anything since I finished it. So let me just try to talk a bit more about it. Okay, so my thoughts generally, I don't want to spoil anything. Like I said, I'm disappointed. I feel like a lot more could have been done with this. I don't even feel like the story in here was very interesting, but still, they could have done a lot more to the story. I mean, if I could get to decide, the story would probably be something else entirely, but like, even with what we got, I feel like they could have been doing a lot more with that. However, like everyone else, I loved seeing all the characters again. Like some people, I definitely feel like some characters felt a bit off, especially two. Who could that be? It feels like Jack Thorne hasn't read the books. It feels like he just watched the movies and got his thoughts on the characters that already existed based on that, and I didn't like that at all because I'm one of the few bunch who really dislike the Harry Potter movies. I think they're terrible. They are terrible movies. The cast is perfect for all of the characters and stuff, and the scenery is great, but ultimately they are very bad movies with a lot of plot holes, and I really don't like the Harry Potter movies. I love the books. In my opinion, the movies are not good. So of course that felt like a problem, but the new characters, I love the new characters. I wish we would have gotten to see even more of the new characters, like the kids and stuff, but I'm still happy with what I got. I liked Albus, he was okay, but you know, like everyone else, I love Scorpius Malfoy. He is my favorite character of anything ever, I think. Like, I love him so much, and I love Draco, and I love seeing him develop. And even though some of the characters did feel a bit off, I loved seeing how all of the characters had developed. It was really interesting to see where they were now. Like I said with the plot, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay. Alright, so that was the positives. For some negatives, I know I just said that the plot was okay, and the plot was okay, but it had so many plot holes, and I couldn't ignore them. And I used to be one of those people who barely noticed plot holes until other people pointed them out for me, but now I could see them so clearly, and nothing made sense. And it just sucked to see this universe that I really love getting turned into that. I didn't enjoy that at all. It has a tendency to happen to a lot of TV shows if they run for too long. This happened to Doctor Who once Stephen Moffat took charge, in my opinion. It happened to Glee. It happened to Homestuck. It has yet to happen to Orange is the New Black. They're doing a pretty good job, in my opinion, with season 4. But eventually, it's something that happens. I feel like the problem is that once you're done with something and you've reached a good end, you should leave it there. You shouldn't pick it up again because you've left it and it's perfect. So you should not do that, and they did that. And I am very sad that they did, actually. And okay, so the other thing that I mentioned earlier, the thing that some characters didn't feel like they used to. The thing is, people do change. I realized that some people change over time, but some of these things just felt so unnatural and like things that these characters never would say or do. Even if it turned out that those characters had changed in such a way so that would feel natural, we didn't get to see that change, so it felt very unmotivated and just uncalled for, and I didn't like it. I could probably have more to say about this if I had a script, but this video is not scripted. I just felt like making this right now because I have some time before I have to go to my next uni class. So this is just rambling about this book. I have seen some great reviews on it, so I might link some down below later if I feel like it. There are a lot of people out there who have a lot of more great thoughts on this than I do, but yeah. Okay, so this book, I'm glad it exists, although I wish it didn't, and I enjoyed reading it, but it was very meh, except for Scorpius Malfoy. Right, so the second Lush product I'm gonna talk about today is a deodorant powder called Powder Puff. So a deodorant powder is basically a solid deodorant-ish. It's a powder, as you can see here, and you put it out in your hands and then you just smear it onto your armpits. And yeah, it's supposed to be like any deodorant, really. My thoughts on Powder Puff deodorant powder were that it was an interesting thing, but ultimately a bit boring. And that matches my thoughts on undervisning i teori och praktik, en introduktion till didaktik, which means education in theory and practice, an introduction to, I have no idea how to translate this word. Okay, so Google Translate says it's didactics, but I don't know if that's correct. Google Translate usually isn't correct, but the word basically means to learn about learning. If you didn't know, I probably haven't mentioned this anywhere, but I'm studying to become a teacher in 1st to 3rd grade. So yeah, this book was basically about teaching. And the language was super complex and I barely understood anything, but what I did understand was super interesting. I really like learning about this stuff, so yeah. I haven't given it a star rating. In fact, I haven't even put it on Goodreads because I don't know if I should put my course literature on Goodreads or not towards my goal. I will think about that and we'll see. Alright, that was my rambling mess. That was my August wrap up, or my review of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, if you prefer to do it that way. I really like using Lush products and my thoughts on them as an introduction to my thoughts on my books and like matching Lush products with books. So I'm probably gonna do that in my September wrap up. Hopefully, if I read anything in September. I have no motivation to read whatsoever right now. Or well, I do, I really want to get back into reading because I miss it. But none of these books feel appealing to me. For September TBR, like I said, I don't feel motivated to pick up any books at all. However, I am thinking of picking up Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I just read Harry Potter and I want more Harry Potter, so I want to read this. It's been forever since I read an actual Harry Potter book. I think it's been almost 2 years since I reread the first 3 books, and I never continued on with Goblet of Fire, which is one of my absolute faves. So I definitely want to do that. So maybe that will be the next book I read and will get me back into my reading game. Some other books that I do want to get to but haven't for some reason, basically because I've been busy and stuff, are the books that I keep on the top shelf. So the first one of those is The Unbound by Victoria Schwab. I actually started reading this week, but I've only read like 12 pages, so not a whole lot, not even the first chapter. But I really liked the archive when I read it for the Booktubeathon, so I do want to keep going on with the series. Alright, so some other books that I wanted to read in August that I didn't read in August that I still want to read, hopefully in September, if this reading slump of mine disappears. Oh gosh, I really hope it does. Anyway, some of those books are The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. I read the first book. I really liked it. I want to see what happens next. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. Reading the archive made me remember why I love her so freaking much. So I want to read all of her things, and yeah, I said this in my August TBR, but yeah. And finally, The Graces by Laurie Eve. This is one of the books that I got in the August Illumicrate, and I think this sounds more interesting than the J. Kristoff book. I can't even remember the name right now. Oh yeah, Nevernight. This one looked more interesting to me than Nevernight because high fantasy isn't really my jam, so I want to get to this soon. It's floppy. I was really intrigued by the synopsis of this, and the cover is gorgeous, so I am hoping to read it soon, maybe. But yeah, that was it for my super duper messy August wrap up and September TBR. Let me know what you thought of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's always fun to know different opinions of it. Did you love it? Did you dislike it? Did you kind of like it like I did? Or what did you think? Let me know. Like I said, that is it for this video, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!